Hey, good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome to.
It is Good Friday, isn't
It is.
it?
Right, 'cause- wow. I meant that. I did that by accident. That's right. Because Easter's this weekend. Well, I got my own tribe. Anyway, I'll be having matzah soon in a few weeks. That's a whole nother discussion. Hey, anyway, welcome back to another live edition of Kiwanis Connects. And by the way, we're back into our normal settings. Val and I are about 300 miles apart, as per usual. Last week, though, was a great treat down in Riverside. Miss Val, how are you feeling this week?
I am fabulous. It has been an amazing week. I'm still with the glow of a phenomenal conference last weekend.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, for me, it was great to be back at a mid-year conference just to kind of be part of that and do the show live with you, as well as some other personal reasons, which perhaps by the end of the show I'll refresh. But it was fun. It really was. Unfortunately, the weather, a little rainy, but the facility was tremendous. We were at the Marriott Hotel and the Marriott Convention Center. Is that the heart of Riverside where we were? Is that like downtown?
That is right off the center of Riverside because it's Old Town Riverside with the Mission Inn and everything, which is an iconic location. And so it is a beautiful part of town. And, for a conference, the weather was perfect. No one wants to go outside.
We were inside. That's true.
Yeah, no one wants to go outside.
But I felt bad for the vendors because I guess every weekend or whatever, they have the street food vendors there. And that was a little nasty for them. Eileen and I took a few minutes break after the general session, and we went out to kind of walk all of that. And I'll tell you what, we brought home some bread. Oh, my God. We brought home ciabatta bread. We brought home everything bagels and a loaf of rye bread. And oh, my God. I'm gonna have to find somebody in Riverside that when they're back there doing that, gonna have to buy me some bread and ship it to me.
I can do it overnight. I actually went to high school in Riverside.
Oh,
no shit.
Yeah, so I graduated 40 years ago this year from Norte Vista High School. So go Braves. And and so when I go back to visit, if it's during that time period, I will overnight you bread.
All right. I love it. Good morning, John. How are you out there? John and Rocky and Derek were working on a commercial for the stroke awareness program that they're very heavily involved with. And
I thought it was about golf.
Well, listen, that's on par for you to think that. See what I did there? Oh, my God. I'm a professional. Do not try this at home. Or I'm unprofessional. You might want to try it at home. But so I'm working with those guys since Mr. Brummer's on the chat box there. So look for that commercial coming, which, by the way, I want to just remind everybody, all you Kiwanians, lieutenant governors, and even if you're not a Kiwanian, but you have a business and you know a Kiwanian, in conjunction with WWDBTV and this show, we can put together a customized commercial for you all to help promote your club, projects, your business, whatever. And here's the cool part about it. Your donations actually serve two purposes. Number one, Kiwanis Connects stays on the air, quite frankly. Number two, a portion of the proceeds becomes a donation back to the Kiwanis Rose Float Club. So it becomes a fundraiser for them. And courtesy of those three gentlemen that I mentioned, I was able to make their donation of $50 this past weekend to the Rose Float Club as part of their ongoing fundraiser. So folks, please email me at kiwanisinfo@gmail.com or put a post out on our Kiwanis Connects info@gmail.com, or put a post on our Facebook page that you'd like more information. And I will love to reach back to you so we can chat about putting a commercial together. As Mike would say, just do it. There you go. And but we had a half a dozen or so clubs since we started this campaign last year that have actually done it, right?
Absolutely. And they're fabulous. And I'm looking forward to sharing a couple of those because several people have called and said, well, what does a 30-second look like versus a 90-second? And there's so much information that you can get locked into that. And so I'm really excited about what we can do. But I did want to say good morning to Doug Chadwick out there in Burbank. He was on our show last week. And so aloha.
Can you put that picture up, John, if you don't mind? Which one? Of me and Doug? No, so I pulled this picture from the dinner that was sent to me, and I did this in honor of Douglas because he's there. You go. He's my Batman dealer, So every time I get Batman or I just got a box from him. Thank you, books, and there was Wonder Woman. There was even some Superman stuff in there. I had to look past that, but that's okay. And he also provided like copies of comic books, like the same, but like I know dozens of them. So we're obviously going to distribute those through Eileen's school, my school, and get those out there. And they proudly have the Kiwanis Literacy Club sticker on the back. So thank you, Douglas, for being a good friend. Thank you Douglas for all that you do. And I'm proud to announce that I am a new member of the Rose Float Kiwanis Club, and my wife is a friend of the the Rose Float Club. So we're there
to the club. It's awesome.
Yeah, we're very excited. We're very happy. It was the Death of Superman book. There you go. That's it. That's what you get when you have Batman supporters. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's why I love Douglas. But Douglas is a good cat. And
wait, that is great news. Does that mean about Superman?
Yeah, wait, that's right. Kathy, please clarify what's great news, that Superman is dead, or that I became a member, or that Val is here, because
I think that you joined the Rose Float Club.
Oh, okay. Is that what it was? All right. There you go. And we did that also to help Douglas, because listen, he's a great promoter. He's probably one of the best promoters of obtaining members and recruiting. And I think he just received an award for 50 members that he has brought in. Is that correct?
He did. And there, Kathy says, "See, silly man, it's all about the fact that you became a member."
There you go.
You know, Douglas was actually the first person that ever awarded me a Ruby pen. And most people don't even realize that they're still out there. But for your first 5, your first 10, 20, and then every 5 after that, you qualify for a Ruby award for gaining members. But Douglas was the first one to ever give me one. No one had ever thought to do that. And so I'm waiting for my 250 to come in the mail. But Doug, you are a rock star. And so part of the day, I really wanted to go over some of the things that happened at our convention, because a lot of things stood out. And there are people that really missed out if they didn't come to Mid-Year North or Mid-Year South, And one of the things that I loved was doing our show from there last Friday. Didn't you have a good time?
Oh, it was a blast. You and I have such a great time in person doing our show that after a while it was just like casting a net as people were walking by. And we had a great, hundreds, all right, a couple of dozen people were standing around us. A plethora of people, yes. We're hanging out, watching the show and supporting it in person, and we want to thank them for that as well. But yeah, listen, I had a blast because it's always fun to see friends, and we see people that support what you and I are doing, which in turn helps support Kiwanis, not just the district, but of course Kiwanis across the board.
Absolutely. And one of the things about what we're doing really gives a spotlight to how amazing Kiwanis is around the world, and how we bring people together from all different walks of life who all want to serve. And that's the best part of it. That's why I want to continue to do the show well after all the changes that happened this year, and I'm no longer on the district board and all of that fun stuff. And it is truly because when we bring in all of these amazing people, we talk about even, like the hat you're wearing.
Oh, yep.
I look at that hat, and it reminds me of one of my absolute favorite friends that you got it from, Ed Cisneros.
Yep.
And so did you want to give a shout out to him? Because
Absolutely. Ed Presnillo, he's the founder and CEO of Honoring USA Heroes. The website is honoringusaheroes.org, first responders, military, and medical. And he was raffling off hats with the flag on and everything. He had this one and a couple others. And what his product is, if I can, and Val, I'm going to hope to goodness I can explain it properly, but he has a picture of the fallen hero, and it's the stars and stripes and whatever the background that was pertinent to that individual. But there's music that comes out of this picture that is tied to the individual who lost their life. And this plaque goes to the family, obviously, so that they will always not only just have a picture, but something so personal as a piece of music, because we know how emotion can be tied to music. I was just so in awe. And I put this hat on to try, because he was giving away hats as raffles at the gala. And I put this on to try it. My wife loved it, and I just bought the thing straight out to support the org. I didn't even want to win it. I just bought it. So, but it's reminders like this that, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps. If John had the overhead camera on, I can show you my goosebumps as I'm talking about this. And Ed is great. And let's see if we can get there we go. See if we can get it in. I don't know if you can see it, but my hair is standing up there. I'm hoping to get Ed on a future show. I'd love to bring him on and talk with him as a guest.
You know, Ed was on one of our shows before. You probably don't remember him, but what he does, it's like what he does is so amazing because most of the heroes are missing. And so what he's trying to do is make sure that every fallen soldier and hero is honored by their local communities. And he puts together these pieces so that a community can sponsor that plaque so the family has something to remember them by. And so he's done POWs, he's done it. It is that amazing.
Yeah.
It's almost, it's like we have had the opportunity to also have Frank on, and I hope that at some point Frank does a presentation at one of our mid-years, because what he does also fits in with our Objects of Kiwanis.
Yep.
And talking about patriotism. And so this show does that. It honors the Objects of Kiwanis. And, that's why we're going back to Denver for our international convention, is because 100 years ago, the Objects of Kiwanis were presented and approved in the bylaws in Denver. And so, yeah, absolutely. Everybody gets that opportunity to come and celebrate it. And when I was governor, one of the things I really wanted to do was to celebrate each part of our Objects of Kiwanis. And so one of the things we focused in on was patriotism. And Ed just embodies that. Frank embodies that. And I'm sure there's so many other people we could bring on the show that just resonate with awarding our veterans and our sheroes and heroes out there.
And I love that. And I'm sorry that I don't remember Ed being on before, but when you do 4 different shows and you're meeting millions of different guests, but I won't forget him now because I'm wearing his product right here. And I appreciate that. But I do want to share, and we're almost getting ready for our first break. And I want to share this, Val. What do you think was one of the most questions that I was asked during the weekend about Kiwanis Connects?
Dad jokes.
No,
That's what I was going to say.
Dad jokes.
No, although I have my list ready. And Douglas, I have one ready to go as well. So, no, you know what? Because listen, I mentioned this and I'm just going to say it. My wife is retiring from the school district in the middle of June. And we're retiring back in Virginia Beach where one of our daughters lives, yada, yada, yada. So everybody's asking me, well, will Kiwanis Connects continue? And I said, look, you know how Val videos into the show? That's all I'm going to end up doing from Virginia Beach. There is no intention of this show stopping. And that is why we must continue. Good morning, Herman. That's why we're asking for participation with the commercials, because that too will go hand in hand with the fact that our show is going to stay on the air. So that, believe it or not, was one of the most asked questions I was getting, was whether the show is going to continue from people, whether they knew I was leaving or not. But I don't know why people would think the show would not be continuing regardless. Again, not too many people there knew of my personal plans. I don't understand why people were still asking about whether the show is going to continue. And I said, yes, it will. But doing a commercial will also help make sure we stay on the air, But
I think part of it is most people don't understand that how this is funded and how it's set up and why it's set up. And so part of why we do this is because you all asked for this. You all said, we need to see more marketing. We need to see more of ourselves out in the public. And this show does that. This show brings in people from around the world. We've had Grace from Africa. We've had our different international trustees. We're going to have more of them next week. Between WWDBTV, Aaron's Hour, and Andy and Val Klingelhofer's Bank and Trust, we make sure this show goes on. It's not paid for by Kiwanis. And that's something that's really important for people to understand. When we're doing this and we're going out there and broadcasting and we're bringing people in, this is a show of love. and it's a gift from the three of us to everybody who's out there. And we want to highlight everything that makes Kiwanis special. This is where our
Absolutely.
passion is.
And I do want to clarify, you mentioned John here in the studio. He's the owner of WWDBTV. He too is a Kiwanian. He joined the new Downtown Kiwanis Club here in Las Vegas. So you do have three Kiwanians together here in this show, producing and putting this on as a labor of love. All right, we're going to step aside for our first break because we have a plethora of topics to go over to share about the weekend, some pictures, things like that. And of course, by the end of the show, bad dad jokes will be coming. You're watching Kiwanis Connects. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thanks to the efforts of the Cal Neva District of Kiwanis, there's been a Kiwanis presence in the Rose Bowl Parade for more than half of the New Year's Day Parade since 1921. In the past, our efforts were funded through club sponsorships, outside sponsorships, by the generous donations from Kiwanis members or club foundations sponsoring riders on the Kiwanis float itself. The District Rose Float Committee handles fundraising, and the Kiwanis Rose Float Club secures and organizes the volunteers. When Kiwanis International wanted to sponsor a large portion of our float, momentum from our clubs was lost due to any fundraising. The time has come to have our clubs increase their involvement in the fundraising efforts. But the Rose Float Kiwanis Club needs the help from all Kiwanis clubs, its members, and businesses to answer the call for support. Visit our Kiwanis Rose Float page on Facebook. Help make sure that Kiwanis International will let the world continue to smell the roses for a long time. All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. There's not only a great example of the type of commercial we can put together with the club, but it's a great segue to continue talking about the Rose Float, isn't it there, Val?
Absolutely. And, one of the great things that happened this past weekend was the unveiling of the theme for 2025. And so it's really exciting to see what we're doing with that. And I'm not sure if we have any pictures of the unveiling, but the theme overall for the Tournament of Roses is it's the best day or best day ever. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that we do the best is work with our SLPs. So do you know what the mascot is for Key Club?
I do, but I'm blanking on it at this moment, being put on the spot.
Mickey Mouse?
No, it's actually bees. And so they have unbelievable or incredibees, and that's their theme. And so our governor-elect Doug Frost chose something that honored our Key Clubbers in his theme. And so it's believing.
Oh.
And so it has a gigantic bee on the float, and there's rumor that there might be walkers and all of that kind of stuff that are dressed in bee costumes. I know that I may be dropping a little bit of the tea to see if maybe that's possible, but it would be so incredible to see 20 or 30 bees buzzing around our float and have a bunch. I know you're laughing at me. But
No. I remember my disclaimer to everybody. If people see me laughing and smiling for no reason, that's because my buddy John back here always tries to do stuff to crack me up. And he just made a reference to a bee that brought that smile, and I'll share it when you're done. Because it is funny, but...
Well, I was just looking at you and I realized that I hadn't given the full title, and Douglas reminded us of that, of being together.
Yes.
And so when we're talking about it, it's being together in service. Our whole Kiwanis family works on the Rose Float, which is absolutely phenomenal. We have over 4,000 Key Clubbers that will be part of the building process, almost 500 hours from different Circle K members. We have Action Club members that come out, and Kiwanians. It's probably one of the most amazing projects that happens in the world, because we have over 60 million people that actually watch this.
Right.
So,
my
absolutely.
wife and daughters years ago, I don't know why I couldn't attend. I don't remember what year, but they actually went out to Pasadena and helped decorate the Rose Float. I have never done it. I've yet to do it. However, my wife threatened my life over this past weekend. Now that we are members of the Rose Float Club, that with the gracious offer from Douglas Chadwick himself, we may come out from the East Coast and get involved during that week in Pasadena, or 10 days. And for me to personally get involved. And then we can do a show live together from there this year.
That would be fantastic. And, if we can't do it then, maybe we'll do it at our preview day. And our preview day is absolutely phenomenal. It's scheduled for November 16th. And barring any catastrophes or calamities or anything by Mother Nature.
Did you just say catastrophes?
Catastrophes.
Okay. Because once this was announced, it created such a buzz. I just wanted to say that. That's all.
Absolutely. And what we're going to be putting out there is what's buzzing Kiwanis, because it will be so much fun. We put out an invitation, and I'm hoping they're listening to us. But we put an invitation out to the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile to come out and give some whistles, because it is, where do you find bees but at a picnic? And so we've also invited a couple of other food trucks to be there. So it'll be a family fun affair. You bring, it's $25 to come and see the floats before they're completely built, be able to socialize and learn about the floats, get up close and personal with them. Maybe a couple people can actually get inside the little driver's seat, and it is little. I will not be getting in there, but it is a little driver's seat, and get some memorabilia and all that kind of swag before we even get started.
That's that. I mean, yeah, I know it's a lot of fun to be part of that and have that experience. I'm sure many people have it on their bucket list at some point to do it, Kiwanian or otherwise. I remember, I think in the Rose Float breakfast, somebody mentioned that there were some folks from Texas who came out for it. They went back to their clubs and shared their experience, that now a plethora of Kiwanis Texans are going to be planning on coming out as well. So I just have to share the reference. If everybody remembers the classic Saturday Night Live when it was good with, Bill Murray, John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd and company. Well, there was a skit where John Belushi came out dressed as a bumblebee.
And they all did.
They all came out, did this whole skit. And so that's what
I could just see them walking by the float.
Right. Yeah. So that's all John said. He said behind the camera, John Belushi as a bee. And that's kind of what brought that little piece of internal laughter on. But check it out on YouTube. I'm sure it's out there. But it is. And like you said, Val, 60 million viewers. Now that's free publicity, sort of. I mean, I guess
for what we put into it, and that's why we always do all the fundraising. You think about, while it may cost us $110,000, our float is usually worth, and this is looks like it's going to be an award winner.
Yeah.
Because this past year was a major award winner. This looks like it could definitely be an award winner. Yep. That kind of float usually would cost $300,000+ to put together. But because we have so many volunteers that come out and help with 8 to 19 other floats that are in our barn, it makes a huge difference. And yeah, it sounds beautiful. And so, we're going to just have our bee puns all the rest of the day.
Of course.
And it's an amazing experience. And just on the parade route itself, there's about 500,000 people all along the parade route. Yep. And from a person who's ridden on the float twice in her lifetime, it was on my bucket list. And then to actually experience it for the first time, you realize just how many people are watching and really connecting with you. And when we tell that story, and Al and Hoda talk on, their channel about, this is Kiwanis, and isn't it beautiful? It's like all of a sudden, it's like pride.
Yep. We made it. Woo!
We made it.
So picture this. Who designs the layout of the float? Do you know who actually designs? I mean, I know
the wife of one of the Phoenix decorating committee. She actually is a beautiful artist. And so the experience is wonderful because you go into a room, the selection committee with the governor-elect goes into the room, and there's like 35, 40 different renderings of different themes. And Kiwanis is pretty up there in being able to choose in our float size category. And so they'll go in and we pick a couple, then the governor will look at it and say, I want that one. And then we'll come up with a name. But Phoenix Decorating Company won half the awards this past year.
Yes.
That's
Herman's
wonderful.
asking, are we going to have a rose float table at the Kiwanis International Convention?
Yes, we will have a rose float table. We'll also have a bunch of our souvenirs and ornaments and pens and challenge coins and all of that. And so if you're from CNH, if you could come out and help us get people to make donations so that we can offset the cost of the float, that would be wonderful. We also are going to be offering seats on the rose float for 2025. Are you ready for the price?
Yeah, go ahead, hit it. Wait, we need a drum roll.
Oh, I thought 2025. What's the price?
$20.
Oh no, no! But if it was on one of the major floats, it could be $20,000 to sit on a float.
Yeah.
For us, it's only $4,000 a seat.
Wow.
$4,000, and you think about
Could
some
I
of
sit
that.
on someone's lap?
Yes, for $2,000, you can be a lot fitter with the seat belts.
There you go.
But what the Rose Float Club is doing is with the Rose Float Club Foundation, we're offering 5 opportunities for if a club anywhere in the world wants to sponsor a key clubber. You pay $3,000, and we'll pay the other $1,000,
Wow.
and we'll make sure that they have a fantastic experience. Part of that is because we really want students to be on there.
Oh, absolutely.
We want to show off the people that are so amazing around the world, and so we'll help the first 5. And if we get enough donations, we might be able to add more.
So vision this, if you will, Madam Val.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I ask about the design of the float, what if they were able to create a little area on the float where certain Kiwanis Connect show can actually do a live remote on the float during the parade?
Oh,
I can answer that.
I'm afraid.
Go
ahead, John. What's your answer to it?
You'd have to do it on your cell phone.
Oh, no. I figured
Yeah,
that. But
because
So would you like
Let's
to
use my-
buy 2
let's say
tickets?
use my hotspot.
So
I'm sorry,
we need to buy 2 seats or 1 seat for $4,000 or $8,000 and be able to do a live on Facebook. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing.
Just put it out there to the powers that be that maybe some great clubs out there can sponsor that idea as well. The Kiwanis Connects in front of 60 million viewers.
Or if the Mega Millions winner from the other day that won $1.3 billion won, if you're a Kiwanian, we would love your support, and that would be wonderful.
Absolutely. Douglas, I take back every nice thing I said about you, you huckleberry. But anyway, so that's okay because they would just have to balance my head out on the rest of the float, Douglas. But anyway, yeah, I mean, listen, it's a great cause no matter what. I look forward to hopefully being there this year. Help support a key club. I agree. If the float is designed around the SLP, it would be great to see SLP members around the float or on the float or however it works. So that's great stuff. It is a lot of fun.
We'll have the international president for Key Club and Circle K on the float with the international president, who is Lee Kuan Yeung, who will be coming in from Malaysia, and it's very exciting to have him here with his wife. Doug Frost with his bride will be there. And then we have the governors of Key Club, Key Winds, and Circle K, and actually representatives from Action Club on the float.
Yeah. The spectacle of what that could be is just beyond belief. And the only thing that concerns me is if there are going to be people in bee costumes, perhaps, maybe a couple on the side, the last thing I want to see is Dave Arnold in a bee costume. I don't want to see that. I'll pay not to see that. So please don't put Dave Arnold in a bee costume. Okay.
Here's our fundraiser. Dave not being in a costume. Send us money.
See? So anyway.
We need more than the costume cost.
I can't see Santa Claus in a bee suit though.
No. So here's an opportunity for us. I would like when we come back from our next break to actually talk about some of the other things that happened at our conference, because there isn't another district that has midwinters like we do. And so I really want to highlight some of those pieces.
All right. Well, that said, Val, why don't you take us to break?
All right. So when we come back from break, I hope that you'll give us a call and tell us your favorite part of midwinter, even if you're not in our district and you had a great midwinter somewhere else. Give us a call. See you in a few minutes.
Am I speaking?
Yep.
Oh, what do I like about mid-year conferences? First of all, I love the education because you learn so much from each other. I love the people. I love Kiwanians, and I love being here and seeing friends I only see at conventions. And it's just fun.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Armando. I've actually been to several of these mid-year conferences, but I gotta tell you that every single time that I go to a mid-year conference, there is something new that I learn. You get to meet so many individuals. There are great people out there. There's always new topics that hasn't been covered before that gets covered now. So if you've been to a mid-year conference and you think that you know it all, you don't, because there's always something new to learn. So hopefully we see you at either our district convention or at our mid-year conference.
This year the conference was amazing. You really missed a lot of interesting ideas, new ideas. What's happening with ICON? What's happening with the new people coming in? We also had a great lunch. Lunch was more than anybody could eat. Lots of things happening in the Kiwanis that you need to know about. So make sure you get ready to go to Hawaii and find out more about what's going on.
All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. We thank those folks for their testimonials. Before I got it, I'm going to tip off. I'm going to start this segment off, like you said. We're going to talk about what happened. So, I have to share a funny thing that happened at the gala Saturday night, because you will appreciate this, Val. So, they were serving dessert, and the dessert, I was dying for chocolate. You know me and chocolate, right? So the head guy who runs the floor, he was in that suit. Unfortunately, I don't remember his name. He came over and he put a second option down in front of me, and I just crossed my arms like this and said, I want chocolate, right? So the other alternative was a fruit plate, cantaloupe, honeydew, watermelon. So a couple of minutes later, and you guys are sitting next to us, and I don't know if you heard the commotion. So he comes over, and I love this guy for this, puts the plate of fruit in front of me. And behind his back, he pulls out a chocolate syrup bottle. I swear to you. And he just squeezed that thing all over the fruit. Man, I was in a sugar coma. The table, I was laughing out loud. I stood up. I gave the guy a hug, and I said, dude, that was beautiful. So kudos to him. And I wish I could remember his name, but that happened. That was funny at the table. Anyway, I guess
he is the whole conference service manager.
Oh, is that who it was?
He just wanted to make sure that we had the best experience. And for those of you out there that have never been to a mid-year conference, we actually have a gala that's a fundraiser for our children's fund in CNH in the evening. And so 95 of our favorite friends were having this great dinner. And the service guy has been there all day long, but he just wanted to make sure everybody had such a great experience. So I'm glad you got your chocolate.
Oh, he was. I stood up and I said, well played, young man. Well played. And he did come to our table a couple of times to make sure everybody's happy, loved the food, etc. So kudos to him. I tip my cowboy hat to you, sir. And I wish I could remember his name, but that was a great moment and fun for us at the gala. But anyway, let's move on to some of the other events besides chocolate.
Well, the overall gala did so well this year. We had a coconut draw, and we sold 50 coconuts. And so for most people are going, coconuts, this is odd. But actually a coconut with candies in it and a prize. And so thank you, Linda Spawn out in Las Vegas, for donating $500 in cash, because the winning coconut opened it up and it said, you are the big kahuna. And the big kahuna got 5 $100 bills. And then 8 or 9 other people got gift cards to different fun places. And that was one of the dream children thing of Bob Larson, who's the vice president for the CNH Children's Fund. It was a great fun time.
Yeah, it was. And you can imagine all the coconut jokes that went around that night on Saturday. I brought The coconuts that my wife purchased came home with us. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Well,
Anyway.
and everybody was kind of disappointed in me because I didn't wear my coconut bra this
Oh.
time. And I just told him the last time I wore it, it just was not big enough. So I had to get a T-shirt with coconuts that were big enough. And I think that helped us sell a lot of coconuts.
I think so. I think the shirt said you could have coconuts like these. Wasn't it what it said?
It
Something
did.
like that?
Yes,
Right.
did. Yeah.
But they
And-
sold out. I mean, everybody, as soon as they came out, everybody was running to you guys, buy these. And you guys, I mean, it was a great idea that Bob came up with. And
Mhm.
yeah.
And
fun.
it's creative because hotels don't allow you to have balloons anymore. And we used to have a really successful balloon pop event, and I know other places you could throw a dart at a balloon to make
Right.
make a fundraiser. But since hotels don't like that anymore, we had to get creative. And I think lots of clubs need to do that right now, is get a little creative on how you do your fundraising.
Yeah.
So that was one. And then our silent auction had a bunch of amazing woodwork and artwork that was in there made by different Kiwanians. And Bob is a master woodworker. And so it was really fun to see all of the pieces. And so if you didn't get something at the auction, Bob is still offering those out. And it's like, Bob, I've said it like 10 times. Bob, if you're listening, he is still offering the same deal that he will donate the wood and his time if you make a donation to our children's fund. So it's
my wife. My
gorgeous.
wife was you know my wife as well as anybody at this point. She's hard to impress sometimes, right? The fact she was impressed with this hat and allowed me to buy it says it. But she loved his woodwork so much that I think she was talking with Bob, and I think they're going to do something. She wants to have him do something as a present for her principal at the end of the school year. So
that's so awesome.
yeah. So he does a tremendous work with his hands with that.
And he did a phenomenal gift to Kathy Tran, who has been our gala chair for the past 3 years. Kudos to you, Kathy, because you've been amazing. And what he did is because she loves baseball. And so he is not a major sports fan, but he did the homework to find out what were the geographic coordinates for home plate at the Oakland A's stadium. And so he built her a life-size home plate and put the home plate coordinates on it and said there's no place like home to honor her. And I don't even realize if she realizes how many hours he took to make sure that she knew she was special. And she truly is, because she has helped our children's fund get recognition and also start to get back to the fundraising that we need to do in our organization.
And I'm wondering which coordinates he did, the one in Oakland or the one to be here in Las Vegas?
Oakland, because all of us are hoping that they don't ever get a stadium out there. I'm sorry.
Well, they're closing the Tropicana this week, and they're going to begin demolishing it. So I guess there's no – listen, I don't think there are a whole lot of locals that really want the stadium there. So – but – they didn't have that. We all missed the memo asking our opinion on that. So they went,
no one called me on my bat phone. So
right. Exactly.
Exactly. But the live auction though was phenomenal. And I wish that my penny bank was more full because there were a couple of trips to Hawaii that were out there. And I wish that I would have been able to treat my sweetie to a trip to Hawaii and say thank you. But I think whoever won got really, really lucky.
Well, there were some. I mean, I think didn't somebody get one of the trips for like, I want to say less than $1,000, and one of them went for like $1,500, something like that.
They
one
did.
Of them was to extend your stay for after convention, and then another one was to book for a week during another time. But I mean, the amount of money that saves just on accommodations when you make your plans, those were two tremendous gifts or items, I should say, that were happily won by the winners, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And Pete Edwards' condo is so gorgeous. And so for someone to win that for less than $1,000 when it could go on the open market for almost $3,000 was a major coup. And so just knowing that all of those things really helped us move forward. And so if you're thinking, hey, I really would love to go to Hawaii and hang out, We have a dinner anywhere opportunity drawing going on right now. And so for $75, you can buy an opportunity to go to dinner anywhere in the Calneva district. And so you could have 2 nights airfare and a dinner at one of my favorite restaurants, which is Roy's in Honolulu, or Sam Choi's on the Big Island, or anywhere in California, Nevada, or Hawaii. So we'll have those opportunity drawing tickets when we're at Icon. And we'll also have, if you want to contact me, I've got some in my desk drawer right over there. And so just saying.
Always got to be prepared.
Absolutely.
Let's take our last break early, because then when I come back, I think we should hit some of the workshops, and I know that there's 2 specifically that you want to chat about. Do you have anything to report for Val on the road?
Just a little bit.
All right, so we'll get to that as well. We have an action-packed last segment, and of course, your favorite bad dad jokes.
Bad dad jokes.
Kiwanis Connects. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas, and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronzauer.vegas and book me for your... The Kiwanis Club of Folsom Lake is a group of fun, passionate people from all different backgrounds and interests who are dedicated about making our community a better place for children. We have 3 fundraising events throughout the year which allow us to support an after-school program for disadvantaged kids, high school scholarships, sponsors Key Club in high schools, and supports the Kiwanis Family House, which builds a supportive, healing community around families who are impacted by medical emergencies. Come check us out by visiting our website, www.folsomlakekiwanis.org.
John kills me back here. By the way, I do want to mention, we heard Kiwanis Family House in that last commercial by Folsom Lake. Kiwanis Family House also did a commercial, which you can find on their website. So thank you to those folks up there. I love Kelly or Paula. Love her to death. So, all right, let's get to it. There are a couple of workshops that you want to chat about, and I totally agree. So go ahead, take it away.
Andy's cracking me up. He goes, dad jokes, dad jokes, dad
All right,
jokes.
Andy.
It's coming.
I'm ready for it. Okay. By the way, happy belated. Even though we said happy birthday to you last week was Andy's birthday. So happy birthday again to you, my friend. All right, go ahead.
One of the things that is phenomenal is our mid-year is always chock full of these sessions, and you really have to make choices, because I think there's only 5 sessions that are happening throughout the day. And I say only as if that's not very many. But my goodness, you have to choose between 4 and 5 sessions and each go round. And wow. So what was your favorite? Which one did you attend?
Well, I attended the diversity one. I just want to recognize the message that just came in, and I'm not even going to try the individual's name. I apologize. But good evening. Good evening here from Kiwanis Club of the Last Frontier, Palawan in the Philippines. Thank you for joining us. God bless you for being part of the K family and catching us today. So I attended the diversity one after we met with Rex here on the show, and we were chatting with him last week as well. Diversity is so important. And the unfortunate thing with that seminar was that we were preaching to the choir in that room. We're all Kiwanians. We all understand, or should understand, although hearing some of the stories, not everybody really does, but diversity is important not only within Kiwanis, but in society today. And hearing the stories and some of the information that the panelists, provided, and the discussions that were going on were very important, and things that, quite frankly, we should know anyway. John?
If for no other reason, I want you to imagine the United States without Italian food, Mexican food, Chinese food,
matzo ball
Thai
soup.
food,
Matzo ball soup.
so
Yeah,
dumbasses.
and that's exactly right. And I echoed during the seminar what I've said here on the show when Rex was with us. Why is it in today's society, with all of our advancements to technology and all that other stuff, why do we even have to deal with this. We all bleed red. Yes. And I know Mario was talking about love and all that stuff in the seminar, and I agree with that, but we all bleed red. Why does the outside of our body make that much of a difference that we can't get along? That's probably the one thing that bothers me. Well, it is.
I wish you could get away from that us and them
Yeah.
mentality. And our world has always lived on that challenge of if there's an us, there has to be a them. And so I didn't have the opportunity to go to the diversity seminars this go around, but I would love to be able to have our seminar presenters on this show
Sure.
to share their messages, because there are a lot of districts that don't talk about this in the level of depth that we did this time around. And I would love to be able to help share that message in a non-threatening environment. And I have to tell you, my mother had such a great time. She usually doesn't go to a lot of sessions. She likes to go to the meals, and go hang out and hug her friends. But she went to a couple sessions, and I have to give a shout out to Michelle Hawk, who did mental health and physical health. The people that were part of that session had such a great time, and Mom is still talking about it. She's been chatting with people about how important it is to drink your water, how important it is to get walking and get out of the house every day. Exactly. And Michelle Hockey made a huge impression on Mama Flo. So one of the other sessions that was so important to me was the general session during lunch, where we have 5 children's hospitals that we support. They originally started with us doing the doctors program and educating pediatric trauma doctors. And we built that to such an amazing program. And now we're focused in on our 5 pediatric hospitals. And we're talking about how preventative pediatric trauma and how much Kiwanis is given just to Rady's Hospital alone in San Diego. Did you see the numbers?
I did. They were big.
$3.2 million since we started supporting Rady's Children's Hospital. That's just that one hospital.
Right.
We also put the burn unit in Maui, or I think, no, it's Honolulu, so that kiddos don't have to be flown to the mainland when they suffer third-degree burns like they used to. Because what would happen is a child would experience burns to their body that they would need support for. They would be life flighted to the mainland, and their parents would have to figure out how to get them there. So think about this little kiddo who's suffering and doesn't even have his parents or anyone who even may know how to pronounce his name correctly with him. And Kiwanis made that change.
Yeah, it made that. I mean, it's frightening for a child. It's frightening for a human that's in that position. An adult, when you don't have family around you. Can only imagine what it is. And what was the amount of the check that was donated?
$49,000.
Not bad for a day's pay.
Yeah, our children's fund donated $49,000 so that they could have a brand new van. And so what they discovered was they got a 2023 van, and they're going to get it all wrapped, and it's going to be so amazing. And it will be co-branded, sharing about pediatric trauma prevention. And, it's spring break right now. And so this presentation resonated with me so much, because there are so many people that are living in even my neighborhood that are living with toy haulers and their UTVs and ATVs that are going to be going out to the desert.
Yep.
And one of the number one traumas that are preventable is kiddos in those vehicles that don't have helmets.
Yeah. That should just take brains, that you just don't do that. But
they're, like in Pismo, there'll be 10,000 people out there doing their sand sports, and they'll go woohoo, and their kids don't have helmets, and those littles fly out of them all the time, and they think, yay, dust yourself off. But the reality is that every time they hit their head, that's one more opportunity that they'll have a spinal cord injury, or that they'll have something that's long lasting that won't show that day, but weeks later, months later, all of a sudden there's something that child will never be able to recover from.
Absolutely. That was the other seminar that I was hoping to have gotten to, and unfortunately just didn't work out for me. But listen, folks, those are just two topics. We lost Val. Looks to be buffering. Those are just two topics at the most recent mid-year educational conference in the South. But we also know that these are things that happen in our everyday lives. John, why don't you put her into the green room till her camera comes back up? These are things that happen in our lives every day. And if nothing else, the information that's provided at the mid-years should be a reminder of things. How logical is it to stay hydrated? You don't have to just live in the desert to stay hydrated. Our body needs it and what that does for mental clarity, diversity. I mean, we should be accepting all people of all kinds, regardless of what does it say, John? Race, creed, color, sex, or whatever it is, right? I mean, people are people. We all bleed red. And, that is something. Looks like she cut off. So keep an eye for her to hopefully bounce back on. We're lucky. I got to say, I think we're kind of lucky that Val was on this long because of what's happening. Oh, there she is. Internet connection kerfuffle.
Power outage.
Quick. Oh, very nice. Don't they know we're doing a show, California?
No.
What is with them? Send them a letter, will you please? Jeez. All right. Well, that's good that there wasn't anything long, but that's a side effect of what's going on in your area because of all the devastated land and stuff with the weather, right? The internet stuff, Val, is because of the weather.
Winds right now. Yeah. We're having heavy winds right now and all of that fun stuff. Mother Nature's just been smacking me all year long. So I'm going to figure it out.
Well, let's get you out of the rain and let's get you in your vehicle. It is now time for Val on the road.
I love that. I love that. My Corvette's going to look like that someday. But, this has been a major week of celebration. So last night I went to the 100th year celebration in Los Gatos, and it was absolutely amazing. And next week we have 2 more 100-year celebrations happening around our district.
Wow.
So if you might be attending one of those and celebrating Kiwanis. We also have this weekend our signature service projects. Mine is bunnies, books, and breakfast. And so we'll be serving over 350 kiddos and then their parents all for free. And so I can let you know that by the time the day is over, I won't ever want to see eggs for 6 or 7 minutes. And
that's no yoke either, folks.
That's no yoke.
Sorry.
Andy will help be making over 1,000 pancakes.
Oh, I bet he'll love that.
And so I know, so across the district, we have about 400 different clubs that will be doing different kinds of celebrations for Springfest and Easter. And so those are things that are coming up. We actually, the Huntington Beach Club won one of the Signature Service Project Awards last year for their spring Easter celebrations. And so then I know that we've also got some Passover things going on. And one of my clubs in the Monterey area has a Passover Seder event. So it educates the local community. So if you guys are doing those kind of things, post them on our Kiwanis Connects because other clubs are looking for new ideas.
Absolutely. Our Kiwanis Connects Facebook page should be a hub for all activity that needs to be shared amongst the Kiwanis community. So I love the idea that they're doing that there's a Passover program as a service project. Love that idea. And that's tremendous. That's being shared. All right. Is it about that time, Val? Is it about that time we make Andy happy? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, is that time of the show, the time where I make Andy very happy and the time of the show where John wants to run out of the studio. But that's too bad for John because we pay him to be here.
That's all right.
So first,
I'm gonna get you this time.
So Maria Chavelle, our lieutenant governor here out in Southern Nevada, requested that we should have done some Easter bunny jokes. And you know what? Had I thought about it, not a bad idea. Although I did do a bunny joke last week. Hopefully everybody remembers it. But John here in the studio says, I got one for you. So we're going to start with him, and then we'll go from there. All right, John, take it away.
All right. everybody knows the singer Elton John, correct?
Yes, Elton John.
Okay. I don't know if you know this, but he has pet rabbits.
I did not know that.
Yes, and he bought them all Pelotrons. You know, the exercise.
Yeah, the exercise bike.
Yes, because he
Peloton.
won
Peloton. There's
Peloton,
yes,
right?
Not Tron.
Yes, because he wanted a little fit bunny.
Andy, remember that was told by John, not me. My God.
Oh,
Can you use my overhead shot, please, sir? Next one comes courtesy of a book that Mr. Chadwick provided for me last week, Pop-Up Riddle Book. This book was published in 1967, and I want to say I was only 3 years old when this book was published. And it was put together by a gentleman who apparently was a regular on What's My Line, Mr. Bennett Cerf. So we want to thank him, and of course was published by Random House. So the next bad joke is going to come from the book because I can. So I had to be careful with some of the jokes only because there's a lot of green in the pictures. And so you may have noticed, like, for instance, the green disappears here. So I'm going to, well, yeah, it did. You don't see the, yeah, it did.
Yeah, I'm looking at the other,
What are you looking at? Anyway, so this is courtesy of this book. So Douglas, once again, this is an honor of you, even though you put a very bad funny in there about me and my head size. So the joke goes as follows. What does a 200-pound mouse say? Val, what does a 200-pound mouse say? Got a little pop.
Anything at once. Anything at once.
Well, that's pretty good. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Okay. Douglas, what? I got to turn it over. Douglas's book. All right. On to the other jokes. Here's my. Wow, look at that. That was my list all scratched and noted. And which ones we done? Here we go. Number one. This is really more of a statement. So my wife is really mad at the fact that I have no sense of direction. So you know what? I showed her. I packed up my stuff and right. Left, right. Okay, that's right. So this is an egg joke. Now that you told me that you're going to be cooking all those eggs, I'm glad one of the jokes. He's still rooting for the cat. Yeah, you would, Maritza. That's a good point. So this one's in honor of you eggies out there. Why don't eggs tell jokes?
They get cracked up.
They crack each other up. Very good. There you go. Why didn't the skeleton climb the mountain? Didn't have guts. Skeleton, nothing on the inside. Okay. That had a little delay on Val. I don't know if that was the stream or that was okay until it connected. Is Andy near you? Do you at least hear him laughing out loud, Val? That's all I want to know.
He's in the living room.
He's in the living room. Andy, I hope you're laughing your ass off back there. How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh, Val? Tentacles. 10 tickles. Okay. That one struck a nerve for Val. Let me see. I think. Okay. Last one.
It's a good thing that wasn't a test.
Okay. I have a funny feeling I may get thrown out of the studio on this one. If there are any psychiatrists out there right now listening, I apologize in advance. And I'm going to give you a disclaimer. I'm only reading the joke. Okay. You psychiatrists, because listen, I got friends who are psychiatrists. All right, here you go. What a setup for this joke. Why can't you hear a psychiatrist use the bathroom? I'm laughing on the inside because I know the punchline.
I can't even go for it. What?
No.
Yes, I do.
Because the P is silent.
No.
There you have it. I'm ending on that note, or that letter for that matter. I had to read that a couple of times myself before I kind of realized they were talking about the first. All right. I'm sending Val off speech. What's that? Do you need a pee? All right. I've hit a home run with that one. Val, I hope you're hearing Andy laughing in the living room next door. So that's good if he is. All right. So now you know what to do with an extra pee. That's all I got to say about that. Give it to your friendly psychiatrist. So sorry for psychiatrists. All right, Val. I'm going to graciously stop there. Final thoughts for the show, my friend, before we reconvene.
You know, spring has happened, and around the world, people are actually feeling the kindness. This show brings that kindness on and moves it forward. Thank you for the laugh. I'm so disjointed right now because
all I know is my jokes are now a hit in the Philippines. My bad dad jokes are now a hit in the Philippines. Those folks in there, I got those laughing emojis. So listen, it's a quirky part, the way to end the show, but you know what? Like Val just said, we also bring laughter along with the hard work that we do. John is still laughing. Val, you can keep laughing as I say goodbye. That's okay. Not a worry. You're in charge anyway. So, all right, next week, I will actually be in Orlando next Friday. I don't know that I'll be able to join the show as I'll be emceeing a golf event in Orlando. So join Val and whoever may be sitting in for me. According to Douglas, will need a very big chair because of how big my head is. And John is always here to support Val. As always, thank everybody for watching. Be happy with each other because you know why? Got to be kind to each of us. We're all we have. We'll see you next time right here on Kiwanis Connects.